activities that we did and everything. And okay, so sorry. Everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad you're here. Today's video I will be doing a story time because it's back to school season, and like I haven't been in school in a year, and I decided to do a back to school like weekly series just to see how it goes. I'm trying it out in addition to continuing my other videos I'm posting, so I'll see how this goes. If it works well, you will be seeing this video. If it doesn't, then yeah. But before I even start, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment, and let's get started. What's the reason why you're doing a story time? Why cause this? Well, I've been meaning to do the story time for a long time, but I've been debating about this for a long time. Like, I kid you not, this situation, I think out of all the situations I've talked about on my channel, has been like the worst or like the most painful. Situations happen where it comes to like friendship and friendship breakup, and you're probably thinking like, oh, like we keep talking about friendship. It's not really talking about friendship. This is more of like I'm giving you like a story, like, hey, just to show like this happens to everyone, this is normal, and I've learned through my experience. I never want to bash anyone who's involved in the stories. This is my chance to just kind of express how I felt and like my experience throughout the situation, because I noticed there's a common theme where a situation has happened, I never got to fully express myself, and how I felt throughout the situation, during the situation, due to the fear of others expressing this, or I'm saying this story for people who are watching, and it probably doesn't matter, but for those who are watching and in a situation, you don't know if you should express yourself or say how you feel towards the other person that's hurt you. This is me telling you, you need to express yourself. Like, I think you've seen my videos in the past. If you've watched it, there's a common theme, and I've always held myself back, but I've still said something, but I wish I've said more. And I think this was like the last situation. Like, after this, I am not holding back. And yeah, this one is the most painful. And another reason why I also wanted to do this video is because I've been seeing a lot of videos on my TikTok about people saying, I'm going to grad school, or I'm going back to school. Like, I'm so excited, specifically grad school. I'm going back to grad school. What are some advice? And this and the third.
In my early 20s, I really wish I had somebody to give me this type of advice. But if you are about to graduate college, I'm going to give you a little bit of advice about the job market and things that you can do to save money in the meantime, because it's very difficult to find a job right away. If you don't already have a job lined up, do not freak out. I'm going to give you some tips. First tip is definitely move home if you can. I know that this is not an option for a lot of people, but if you have the option, I would. I know it's so tempting to move to a big city right away, and I almost did that, but I'm so grateful for the time that I spent at home because I was able to save so much money. Rent prices are absolutely through the roof, as people know, so I'm telling you, you should live at home if it's an option for you. I know it can be very hard to do that at times, but it's a good financial decision. Let's talk about 3 rude awakenings that you're going to experience when you start graduate school. I'm starting my master's degree in the fall, and all of these things are coming from recent grads or students that are currently in the same program that I'm going to be attending. One thing that I keep consistently hearing is the common misconception that graduate school is just a slightly harder version or an extension of your undergrad. But I've come to understand this is absolutely not the case. Grad school comes with a completely different structure and set of expectations. It's the time where you get to specialize, so it's going to be a lot more individual and hands-on research and really diving in depth. Number 2, I didn't realize this, when you're in grad school, it's very, very common for people to be either working part-time or full-time. On top of that, doing TA-ships, research positions, internships, etc.
This is more of a story time, connecting back to just my advice on grad school. Like, I talked about it briefly, whatever, but this is my video. I'm doing a full-on story. Before I even start, this is going to be long. Don't forget to grab your popcorn, your drinks. I'm serious, it's going to be a long story. I might even do multiple parts because this is you're. I don't even want to spoil anything. Just sit back, enjoy, grab your popcorn, and once again, this video is not to harm anyone. This is just me expressing my experience and how I felt. And I always get worried that people who like I talked about in the past are gonna watch my videos and say, "Oh my gosh, she's hating." No, I'm at a point right now. I've forgiven this person. I haven't talked to them, but I've learned to forgive. Like their action hurts, still hurts, but I've learned to forgive them. Not because of like they were my friend, but more for myself, so I can heal and for my mental health. But yeah, let's get started. This story happened about a year and a half ago, and for those who watched my previous story time, I talked about my experience in undergrad, especially with friends and club. And if you haven't watched that, please watch that. I will leave the link of all the stories time I've done in the description below. But this story time happened in graduate school. Yes, I do have a master's and I went to graduate school right after my undergrad, which is one thing a lot of people, if you're ready and you think you can do that, fair. I think I'm happy that I'm super grateful. I'm very fortunate I have a master's, and I will never I'm truly, truly grateful. But I think it was very intense, the program, and I do wish some people do take a break. There's a thing where you can if you apply, you can take a gap year, and then attend again. That's a thing for grad school. If you're into that, there's more information about that. I learned that through a mentor of mine, but I was like, I'm just gonna go straight in because why not? You only live once. It should be fun. It's grad school. What's the harm, right? So I was happy because where I was attending school was one of the top universities, but also I was a lot closer to my family, which was great. I could, be around my family more. I think it was awesome. I didn't have to worry about commuting. I could just take the train. It was perfect. With that, you think the things about cliques is a high school thing? No, it's literally a life thing. I think that's how we function as society. A thing since forever, so it's part of our human nature. Unintentionally, intentionally, it's just part of who we are and how we are. And I just thought it was a high school thing, but no, it's not. Even in grad school there are cliques. But the program I did, it was for the health science program, and specifically I was in applied psych. So the program that I did, it was very small. So there was different programs. There was counseling psych, public health, but the applied psych was a very small crew, let's say between 20 and 30-ish people. I was the only I was the only black girl. Well, I was one of the only other black person in that program, which is not an issue, but I think with my upbringing, I went my high school, I went to a majority black school, so a lot of students were black, especially Caribbean and African descendant, but it's we all I was able to connect to another whatever college. I went to majority white predominantly white institution, but I still was able to connect. I had a good amount of black friends as well. Not an issue. I love having a diverse range of friends, but sometimes when you see another person that looks like you, you're oh, cool, what I mean, especially in a program, especially in a STEM program, it's kind of hard. So going to grad school, you're oh my god, another person who kind of looks like me, who's in STEM. This is great. You think we would be able to connect, but I guess they had their friend, and it's me, because as people who know me, sometimes it's hard for me to kind of open up to people. I always expect people to open up to me first, and that's one thing I do regret, trying to be more open. I do if you're going into school and you're worried about making friends, I would say try to be as open, to have conversations with people, but not be too extroverted. You know what I mean? Have your limits. You want to be, especially if you're starting a new area, you want to have your boundaries, but also be open to talk to people, and make friends. So that was my thing, right? So I'm oh, it's fine, I'll make a friend. And I think I was so eager to start a fresh start, because it's literally undergrad. I was I'm going to grad school, no one will know who I am, I will be fine, I don't have to worry about anything. I I can have 50, like I'll be like, I have a whole new fresh start. This is gonna be perfect. But it wasn't like that. It was kind of hard, especially fall semester. And people, like, by the third week, people already had their crew. Like, the international students were together, which I get it. Like, it's fair. Y'all have a way you can connect. I don't know. Everyone had their friend group, and I was kind of like the outsider. And you know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm used to it. F it. I don't care. I'm used to being the outsider. This is nothing new. You know what I mean? But sometimes something in me deep down was like, damn, like, am I really that bad? Like, am I really that mean? Like people talk to me, I make small talks. Like, I don't want to be very soon, especially I think it's also a cultural thing with me being Haitian. Like, it's like it's kind of shunned upon, like, being like into like getting like being close to people, or being like into like, okay, I gotta be like all in your face. It's very like shunned upon. That's what we have a term called sumun. Like, you're very like, I can't really describe it, but like you're all like bound, like not boundaries, but like desperate. I don't want to say like I'm desperate, but like sometimes I think when we use the word sumun for everything, sometimes I just want to be desperate. Sometimes it's fine. It's okay to like want to having or a friendship with someone, right? So I was like, I don't want to be very sumun. I'm gonna keep my distance. If someone wants to be my friend, they'll approach me. Well, that kind of happened with one person. They they were very like a social butterfly, and we had a few classes together fall semester, but whenever I saw him, like, we'd always wave and like, say hi, because like we've seen each other. Like the face looks familiar, but we had like a few classes together, but not a lot. So that happened, and like we were in group projects as well. And like I remember one of the first conversation we had, he made compliments for my cover laptop case. I wish I can show you a picture here. One thing about me, my old laptop, I need to update my new laptop. I had like a bunch of stickers of like different majority of like K-pop stuff. It was August D, ATEEZ, BTS stuff, and like also stuff about like, Clark, like the school I went to and everything. So he was like, oh my God, I love the sticker, especially like one of them was of a sticker of ATEEZ. I forgot which one. And he's like, oh, what does that represent? And I was very shy. I think, as I talked about in my previous story time, being a K-pop stan, it's hard because everyone thinks you're a career boo. Everyone thinks you're only into Asian guys. It's like, no. So I was really scared. Like, for something that's like very normal, like how can some people say like, oh yeah, I'm into reggaeton, I'm into rock, I'm into pop, I'm into classical music without fear. But the fact that he asked me, oh my God, what does it represent? I was like, it's a group. I literally said that. I was like, it's a picture, it's a sticker of a group. And he's like, okay, what group? I'm like, they're an international group. That's how scared I was. I didn't want to mention it was a K-pop group. That's a problem. And he's like, okay, well, like, what country? I was like, oh, from South Korea. They're a K-pop group. He's like, oh, nice. And then from him, it clicked that I'm into K-pop. I was like, oh my God. And he was really into sport. He was like, yo, I don't know if you know about the FIFA World Cup last year. There was a artist who did a song for the World Cup. I was like, oh yeah, JK. He did a song for FIFA last year. He's like, yeah, that's his name. Like, it was a good song. I'm like, yeah. And I was like, for a short conversation, but I'm like, okay, whatever. But like we said, we saw each other, classmates, whatever. Then spring semester, I think is when we got really close. So long story short, we ended up like our schedule was exactly the same. It was exactly the same, like we identical, and like I started seeing him a lot more. He started seeing me a lot more. I'm like, oh, okay, so it looks like we're gonna be in a lot of classes together, which is fine. It actually works out because like it's good to have like someone who who's in your class in case like you miss a day of class, or like if you want to like have a study partner, or if you want to like look at someone's notes. It's good to have like a classmate who you can talk to, feel comfortable with. I will be discussing how he asked for the notes after spring break. Spring breaks happens, and we come back. And Thursday, since I said we have the same exact schedule, we had a class Thursday morning, and sometimes the professor would end early because due to a projector problem, or like, the course was over. So we'd have a class Thursday morning, and then we have like a good 2-3 hour block, and then our second class. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna stay. I usually stay and do my work. and he had whatever. So I'm doing my work, and but the thing is, the next class was about to start. So I'm like, shoot, I gotta go. So I'm like, I don't know what to do. I know around this time the school can get very, very, very full, and usually I like to sit alone and do my work. But if it get very full, I get worried. I'm like, okay, like there's no space for me to do my work. I can't do my homework if it's full and packed. So I'm like, okay, let me text Thomas to see if he's on campus. So I text Thomas. I'm like, hey, are you on campus? Yeah, like I'm trying to find a space to do my work, but there's nowhere. Like, I hope you have a space. Like, if there's a seat next to you or like across from you, I just need a place to sit down. Like, everywhere is literally full. I will leave you alone. I will not bother you. I won't even talk to you. Pretend I'm not here. Because a lot of time I'm like, I might want to know the person. He's like, yeah, of course. You can join me, sit here, whatever. So then after that, I joined in. I'm like, yeah, thanks, perfect. We literally spent the whole 3 hour talking. I was there to do my work, and so was he. And we just, because we never had the chance to really talk and like get to know one another as much. And once again, when we were talking, he complimented my thing. I'm like, oh, perfect. This is what I got. And I'm like, oh my god, I have a bunch of like my laptop screen sticker. And I was like, I have a bunch of that at my house. And one thing about me, I don't like sharing my K-pop merch. So if I share a K-pop merch with you, that means I F with you a lot. So especially the stickers, you know, because you for those who are not a K-pop fan, whenever you buy an album, especially from a K-pop artist, K-pop group, it comes with a little bit of merch. It comes with a lyric book, pictures of the group, pictures of the members, and you get like stickers to put a decoration. And that's what I do with my laptop. So I'm like, yeah, like I have a bunch. I can bring some for you to pick out next time. And he's like, oh my god, that'd be great. I love that. And then we started talking about a reality TV show because he saw one of my posts on Instagram about Love is Blind. And we're just talking and talking and talking about just like things we like and we're interested in. So that's that. And then fast forward to that Thursday afternoons when we talked about our interests. And then that Thursday evenings when we had the group meeting and I was annoyed. So remember, we're catching up, getting to know another Thursday afternoon. Thursday evening is when we had the group meeting, and like I felt like he was just being a bit rude and right. So Friday morning is when I text everyone like, hey, we gotta meet, talk about this over the weekend. Something felt weird. So then he calls me, right? We're going to calls me at 4 o'clock on the dot, 4 or 5, forgot, but he called me literally on the dot. And once he called me, he was like, yeah, I just want to catch up. Like, how are you? I'm like, I'm doing okay. Like, you know, a little bit stressed out. I was like, are you okay? You seem stressed. I'm like, I'm a bit stressed. I'm not gonna lie. He's like, I could feel it. I'm like, damn, am I giving stressful energy out to people? Am I releasing stressful energy? He's like, no, but I just feel like you're tense. Like, he's like, I can tell when someone's like tense, like their energy. I've been laughing back. I fell for that shit. He's like, yeah, I can feel when someone's tense and their energy. I'm like, oh yeah, like, you know, midterms week is very stressful, but other than that, I am stressful. You know, I'm a bit stressed out. He's like, yeah, I also want to talk to you about like what happened in the group chat. Like something came up. Like you said something. You want to talk about something. What is it? He's like, if it's because of what happened yesterday, I just want to say I'm so sorry. So it's like he knew. And like when he's like, I'm gonna call you out. You say, oh shit. So this part right here, y'all, if you haven't been listening to the past like 10 minutes, that's fine. But this part right here is important. So I explained to him like, this is how I felt about the whole situation. I was trying to help you guys. I feel like I'm not being heard. This and that. It's like, I feel you. I didn't want that to happen anyway. You're like one of my closest friends in the program. Like I really care about your thoughts and opinions. Like I care about you a lot. This is important, y'all. And he's like, I feel like I've known you my whole life. I feel like we would have been friends in high school. I'm like, I understand. It's okay. Like, you apologize and I forgive you. It's whatever. But next time, he's like, he even says this, next time if I'm acting like that, I'm being annoying, let me know. Call me out. Like, I respect your opinion. Not like, just let me know. I'm like, of course I will. Ever since then, been best behavior. And like, remember I told you Thursdays we would, you know, that Thursday we chat and get to know one another. That became like a recurring thing when he came to school, like when he was on campus. Like that became a reoccurring thing. We talked about culture, family dynamic, high school. What else we talked about? our interests. He would talk about like, yeah, I was like activities that we did and everything. And we just became very close, very like he was like one of my closest friends in the program. I became friends with another friend of ours who was a group mate at the beginning, but he was really, we got to talk and he was really cool. But I was a lot closer to Thomas out of anyone in the group. Like I would only really talk to him. Like he knew a lot of stuff about myself. There was a lot of funny moments where like I remember he saw a picture of me, my mom, and he thought that I was a mom, like, no, I'm not a mom, this and the third. And we just talk about, that's when we talked about family dynamic. And, yeah, and it would become a Thursday afternoon thing. And then sometimes Friday mornings when I was at work and I had break, we would FaceTime for like, not too long. And I was like, damn. It's kind of refreshing. Like I made some great friends throughout school that I still am friends with and I'm forever grateful. But this was the first time like, damn, like this is what it's like to like kind of have a genuine friend. Like I don't have to deal like making genuine friends, but it's having a close friend. Like I don't have to deal with, the drama and being left out and like, the communication. Like he did say like he's bad at texting, but like he would always make time to text whatever. And I'm like, oh my god, this is nice. Like having a good friend, like for once. Like I'm not saying my other friends are not great, like they're amazing, I love y'all, whoever watching, my friends, I love you deeply. But I was like, this is refreshing. Like no drama, everything's cool. Like I'm reaching my goal that I've been trying to have, was a genuine friendship. There was times where like a lot of times he would start the conversation by asking for a favor. And I'm like, you know what? Sometimes friends you ask for like for like, oh, like, do you know like what this direction is? How do you do this? Like especially when it comes to graduation, whatever. And this segment right here, I'm going to try not to get emotional. I thought I still am over and I forgive the person, but this is the worst you can do. And I'm upset because I didn't get the proper explanation that I deserve. And yeah, so without getting emotional, so what after that, it's been on nearly 2 years. I'm still, yeah. So after that, then became finals week, and one thing I might get really stressed out during midterms and finals week for any exam when it comes to academia. I don't know why. Like it's like my anxiety acts up. There was a time where I was really stressed out. The app Canvas that literally like the blackboard that shows you your grade opened like every 5 minutes and would refresh it even though grades were uploaded. Like I had the notification on when my grade would change, but I would refresh it just the fear of like failing a class and everything. And I was like, this is not healthy. Like I need to do something. Like I have to do something. Like I need to do something to like do this app and like not worry about it. So I was like, let me text Thomas like to see if he could do this favor for me. So I texted Thomas. I'm like, hey Thomas, I hope you're doing well. I don't mean to bother you, but I told him I'm feeling a bit anxious about my grades right now. Can you do me a huge favor? When grades are uploaded, can you just give me a notification? He was like, yeah, of course. So, and he did do that. And then like while checking, he's like, how are you doing? And I'm like, honestly, I'm not feeling well. And I was like, and then a day later, he responded. He's like, oh my God, like, let me call you like to check up on you. And I'm like, okay, yeah, of course, like, whatever. And I really appreciate that. And that's why, even though this person hurt me, I will never forget this night. And a lot of my friends who hurt me, I do think about the goods more than the bad. Like I do think about the moment, okay, I appreciate them for this, but this one I really do appreciate, because people who I was at my worst, even though it was for like a short period of time, I was at my worst. So he called me and like I explained everything to him, and he's like, don't worry, this is a process, this is how graduation works. Like you'll still be able to graduate, but You just have to take a course if you were to fail, but I doubt it. You're gonna do fine. Like, he was very reassuring. He, like, I felt better once talking it out with him, and like I was able to express myself. I'm like, oh, this is great. Like, I'm gonna be fine. Like, he's right. And I feel like the weight was lifted off my shoulder, and that's was which I really appreciated. And we were talking all night, and like I got distracted. I'm like, wait, why am I stressing out? I realized at the end, I was like, oh wait, I feel better. So then midway the conversation, we're talking about other stuff, and he's just venting about his hatred towards a teacher. And I'm like, yeah, thank you again so much. He's like, this conversation is really nice. I'm like, yeah, it is. Like, it's nice having to kind of, because I think he also felt the same way, and just needed also someone to talk to. I think having that connection, having able to talk to someone just like how you feel about, stressed out about grade, was nice. So I'm like, okay, this is great. So then Monday morning, I get an update about my grades. Everything went well. And I'm like, hey, can I talk to you about an update? I got it because yesterday I emailed the professor. The day before, 2 days before, I emailed the professor about meeting her about my grades, and I told her I was gonna keep him updated when we were FaceTiming. And then Monday morning, I was like, yeah, are you free to talk? I got an update. He's like, yeah, talk. We can talk. So another 3 hour talking. It gave me an update. I passed all my classes, obviously, because I would not have a master's. And he's like, oh, thank goodness. I know you wouldn't feel like, very, like, just being a great supportive friend, being reassuring me again. It felt great. Right? So then that Monday, grades came out, and it was announced, like, okay, if you would graduate or not, whatever. Graduation was on Saturday. So Saturday happens, and I'm there early because we had to be there early. And I see a line forming already. So I'm like, okay, I gotta run. And then I see him, and then we both smile, wave at each other. But then I realized I forgot to get my card, because the way the school was doing it was like they had your card and like a QR code, and it'll have like a AI read your name. He saw me, and I was like, I gotta run and grab my card. So I run to grab my card, and the lines people are already walking and running to go to like this like little tent, because at the time there was like a protest of the genocide that was going on, and I guess the campus police were cautious or concerned for safety, which is stupid, because students were peacefully protesting over because of a genocide, which makes sense. But because of that, they're like having a tent, and they had security guards, whatever. There were two sides to the tent, one side and the other side, and I was on one side. And one thing another thing is, like, I get very anxious when I'm alone and I don't know anyone, especially in a space. I get very anxious. I'm like, oh god. So I'm like touching my phone. I'm like, I literally just do this on my phone, like pretend I'm texting, and like it's bad. I get all jittery. It's my anxiety acting up. I really hate public setting with a lot of people. Like, I don't know why I get very anxious, but it just hits. And I was like, okay, let me text him. He's probably in the other side, and he's probably bored out of his mind. Let me text him. Like, I would text him. He would respond there and from there time to time. I'm like, whatever. And the ceremony starts. It's time to go, and we're inside. Everything's going great. Ceremony was quick, thank goodness. Ceremony starts. People do the speech. It's time to announce. It's time to start. It's time to do the walk, grab your diploma, whatever. Boom. So there was 2 columns. He was in the other side, and he's one of the first people to go up. So I see him walking. I gotta cheer for my friend. I'm like, okay, go Thomas. And then he goes up, and then another person goes up. This is important. I forgot to mention this. There are no assigned seats for my graduation because, like I said, the QR code happened, scan it. So there was no need for assigned seat because the paper had all the information that the people needed, right? So he walks across the stage. I'm like, oh, okay. Then I'm like, okay, go, period. And then another classmate of mine walks across the stage. I'm like, okay, fair. And then the third classmate of mine walks across the stage. I'm like, awesome. And then a 5th classmate walked across the street. I'm like, okay. And then, more and more and more. I'm like, oh, so when did all the applied psych students decide to sit together? And like, why am I the only applied psych student in the other side? This is weird. And why is my so-called close friend and the other side and didn't let me know or tell me anything. I'm not mad that he sat there. Of course, you made other friends with the program, for sure. Do you? But if the whole program is sitting together, I feel like, hey, something was planned one way or another. So I'm like, okay, don't think it, but it's weird. It's in my mind all day. I was like, no, I was left out. To me, it felt like I was being left out. Like something was planned out. No one told me anything, and it hurts the most because it's like your friend was involved and he didn't say anything. And I'm like, yeah, they let me know, like, hey, we're planning. Like even if he wasn't planning, we're planning on doing something. Like, I was informed. Which side are you on? Come join us, right? Today's video, this is part 1 of the video. Part 2 will be coming out next time. But before I go to them once again, don't forget to subscribe and like and comment, and see y'all next time. Bye. Oh,